Ladies and gentlemen, today I wanted to do a bit of a Wolverine comeback regeneration showcase video comparing both Wolverine and X-23 because they are very, very similar champions. It's commonly known that X-23 has significantly more damage, but overall less healing, and Wolverine has more healing but less damage in comparison to X-23. So what you're about to see here might be the most epic comeback ever. Look at that health pool at the moment. We're taking it level 2. The regen is barely clinging us on there. Absolutely ridiculous, but that's what I tried to do in both fights, is just get as low as I possibly could without dying, and then see like how long roughly it took to get back to full health. Now in this first scenario, you'll see every time we proc regeneration, it's roughly 126 health per tick, a pretty decent rate there. So Wolverine has two types of regeneration when he's awakened. He has the one that triggers on attacks, and that's got a 14% chance to trigger, and that's the 126 one you're seeing. And then also when he's awakened, he gains an 8% chance on attacks to have a significantly higher regen, and that one actually stacks with the regular one you see. And the awakened one is roughly anywhere between, I think it's like 15 to 20%, depending on the signature ability level of Wolverine. So yeah, that one's really, really strong, and it's actually not anywhere in this first clip. However, there is a bit more Wolverine Realm of Legends Winter Soldier gameplay later on, and you do see that regen come up quite a bit. But in this scenario where we're going for like no health to full health, that one doesn't proc once. It's got an 8% chance to proc, so we probably should have seen it, but we just didn't get too lucky in this one, I guess. However, there are a lot of stacks of the regular regeneration, so that's doing pretty well for us. We're about, 74 hits in, and we are almost at full health, going really, really well. Wolverine, just an absolute fight recovery beast. As you can see, we went from pretty much being dead to full health in about like 85 hits, roughly about that. So pretty decent, pretty reliable character for comebacks. And with a Wolverine character, I think that's really what I'm after, because I'm in the scenario where I can take one of these two to 550, so I'm leaning a bit more towards Wolverine at the moment. So now we move on to X-23 just to kind of show her regen here. So same strategy of taking quite a beating at the start, get to really, really low health levels, and then make a sick recovery. I really enjoy doing this, actually. It's quite a lot of fun. As you can see here, Wolverine X-23 took actually a bit less of a beating to get to minimal health, so we only have like a couple of bars of power, so our regeneration isn't really stacked up. Wolverine procced a lot of defensive regens there. So for Wolverine X-23, her only regen has a 15% chance to proc on any attack. We just didn't get very lucky at the start. It was really, really bad RNG. I don't believe we got an initial regen until about 30 hits in. Just absolutely terrible random procs there. So it wasn't too lucky, but you see there, hit number 30, we managed to get it. However, one of the big pros is just the damage on X-23 is just so ridiculous. Especially on fights where you can keep up a high tempo and keep up like 3+ stacks of bleed, because you're going to be getting a lot more crit and a lot more crit damage there. But as you can see, so far the regen hasn't really kicked in too much. It's going to start ramping up a little bit. We're getting a little bit luckier here, so it ain't getting too bad so far. Just baiting those special ones and playing like an absolute god here. So if we have a look at Wolverine X-23's regen, this has actually been more than a minute in the fight. So after the first minute, Wolverine was healing for 121, and X-23 is healing for 126. So this is a difference of just 5 every single tick. Isn't really a huge amount, but we saw considerably more procs on Wolverine. However, that was just it was just one fight, so we might have got a little bit lucky there. It took a little bit longer to kind of get the first proc on X-23, whereas Wolverine was just triggering them all over the place. But yeah, theoretically speaking, from that basic regen, Wolverine X-23 actually has a 15% chance to trigger it, whereas Wolverine only has a 14% chance. But again, what makes Wolverine so superior in terms of his regen is he has that 8% chance to trigger like a 15 to 20% one, and especially on some of the other fights that I'm going to show you, that one makes an absolutely huge difference at certain points, because it can absolutely skyrocket his health up, and that one stacks with kind of the regular regen as well. So a lot more potential there for Wolverine, but as you can see, we're like 100 and a bit hits in. We haven't had great RNG, but you can see that When we get to 115, she's going to get that last stack of regen she needs to pull her up to 100%. So overall, pretty good with X-23. So that kind of rounds up the first round of testing with Wolverine and X-23. I think what we learned from that really is, well, Wolverine, he got pretty lucky, and X-23 didn't have so great RNG, but I wanted to do kind of some longer fights, and this is what we're going to be looking at now. I think the next, like, 2-3 minutes are the perfect showcase of why Wolverine just might be the king of regeneration. He is just so incredibly good. You're going to see him come back from the dead so many times in this video, and so incredibly quickly as well. So again, one of the things with Wolverine and X-23, if you aren't already familiar with the characters, is that all of their regeneration is based off power levels. So to really get like the good regeneration, the kind of hard-hitting stuff that's going to save your ass, you need to be on 3 bars of power to get the really effective stuff. So I think that's also an interesting thing to bear in mind when it comes to like Alliance quest fights as well. Wolverine having like less damage output overall, if you can play well, might be a little bit better, because it allows you to get to that 3rd bar of power and gives you more time to proc like the sickest regen ever. But I'm not really too sure about that one. I think overall, like, Wolverine is a little bit better. If you saw the 208 there, that was the regeneration from his passive ability there. Sorry, signature ability. So yeah, pretty decent when it procs. Really quickly tops up Wolverine there. As you can see, we've managed to almost salve the full health bar in about like 55 hits there. So again, even better than the first gameplay showcase there. So now I'm just like, okay, we've got all the way up, let's just go all the way back down again. As you can see, really nice regen as well while he's getting hit. We've got the 203 one again, that's his signature ability regen kicking in there. The standard one from his attacks and getting hit there. But it's so good. Like, Wolverine, you just knock him down and he just gets back up so incredibly quickly. And that's what I really like about the character. And overall, like, while his damage output is noticeably less than X-23, I think the regeneration just makes up for it so incredibly badly, because it's just so reliable in a lot of circumstances. It just comes through. But I wouldn't say it's reliable, actually. It's still based off procs and random numbers, but it's so good that it's definitely worth it. After taking that beat down, we're back to full health again in like 32 hits. Granted, we did get like 2, signature ability procs, so that was pretty lucky there. But yeah, I love Wolverine's regen, and this is only a rank 4 level 40, so I believe, you know, once I get him up to 550, which I'm probably gonna do, because I have so many champions that deal like insane damage, but not that many now that have like a consistent, reliable regen that just keeps on going and going throughout the fight. And I think that's really one of the appeals to Wolverine for me, is just like how strong and how potent his regen is, and how he can just keep on bouncing back, even if you do get hit, even if you do mess up a few times. Because playing on live stream and doing stuff live, I mess up a lot, guys. It's difficult to play perfectly and do a live commentary at the same time. So I think that's probably the character that we're going to go for. I think for some stuff X-23 might be better, but I think I like the slower, well, it's not even a slow pace of playing, really, because Wolverine's damage output is still so sick, and his bleed can stack up to, I don't think it has a cap, so sometimes you might see like 8 or 9 stacks of bleed in this video. Just really good, and I think, I'm not too sure at 550, but I really hope the chance to proc the bleed goes up a little bit there. But again, here, just trying to take more damage, trying to get beat down so we can just get back up again. But as you can see, even when he's getting beat, his regen is just still fighting back so aggressively. I love it. I love Wolverine so much. It just seems impossible to die on this character, even if you are a complete scrub. Because this is me trying to simulate being a scrub and recovering, like I would maybe on a live stream. And in these about 150, 160 hits, we have taken like a really big chunk off Winter Soldier. So I don't know. I think I wanna max out my Wolverine for maybe Alliance Quest, maybe Alliance War. I'm not really too sure about Wolverine in Alliance War and how he fares. But I'd be interested to know, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any comments or experiences with Wolverine in Alliance War. I'd like to see how he fares. So I try to go low here to get another regen, but I get the stun just at the most awkward point. and we get wrecked. So yeah, we eventually got out RNG'd by Winter Soldier, but as you can see there, throughout the 168 hits, we took off just over 220k, so it's pretty damn decent. So we're going to finish this fight up with X-23, and also have a little bit of a look at her regen in this one. So, just trying to take a beat down at the start here. He's playing very, very defensively initially, which is a little bit weird. Getting the regen procs there. I'm not too sure why I went in for some additional hits there, but we did anyway. Just trying to kind of slowly get the health down, because X-23, she has about 1,000, I think it's about 1,000 less health than Wolverine at this rank. It's somewhere between like 800 and 1,000, so she's a little bit more flimsy, but both of the characters are very, very flimsy. I don't want to mess up here, don't want to take too much damage, so we're slowly getting chipped down here. Decide we're almost ready to make the recovery, a couple more blocked hits, and I think it's time to go. You know, we're on about 20% now. It's a good opportunity to try and get those regens off. So again, we've done about 10 hits so far. No regen in sight yet. We're going in for the next 5 combo. Again, no regen at all. 20 combos, so we managed to get it off on the 20th hit there. Although X-23 does say a 15% chance to proc, I just often feel like in a lot of fights, it's less than that. It just feels less than that. I know that's maybe a bit of a weird thing to say, but it doesn't seem like it's 50%. It seems like it's maybe 8%. But yeah, in the ability description it does say 15. I mean, we've been pretty lucky in the last few rounds of combos, managed to get regen off every 6 or so hits. So we're doing quite well. Her health is starting to come back here, but it's nowhere near the accelerated level of Wolverine. You know, when you get that signature ability proc, that is just so damn sweet. So I accidentally pushed Winter Soldier to special 2 here, so we're going in ham, we're getting all that damage off. That's one of the very good things about X-23 is the bleed is a little bit stronger, and also that increased crit damage and crit chance when you have over 3 stacks of bleed is pretty good for when you can go ham on the opponent there. Just trying to play quite well here, avoid the special 1, but you can see comparatively, like, just after watching some Wolverine gameplay, it doesn't pull you back just quite as quickly as Wolverine will, but eventually, you know, it's still going to get you back in a fairly good shape for the character. But yeah, I've been thinking quite a bit about Wolverine versus X-23, because there's so much to take into consideration, but after playing around with both of them, I am really, really leaning towards Camp Wolverine at the moment. I need somebody to give me, like, a compelling argument as to why my X-23 would be a better option. I like the guaranteed regen so much when there are just so many characters that can deal an exceptional amount of damage in short bursty fights. I kind of want a character that can just keep on pulling a fight back and deal with some really annoying stuff in quests, like maybe Regeneration or some of the annoying stuff that we might see in Act 5. And I think that character for me, I think it's Wolverine. I think it is Wolverine. So here we're just trying to take some more damage on the X-23 to see if we can swing the fight back. And it ain't going too bad. It ain't going too bad. The frequency of bleed, especially in some scenarios, just ramps up so quickly for X-23. But I think if X-23 could stack more than 5 stacks of bleed, she might be the option. She might be the option. But also that's one of the additional advantages of X-23 is against bleed immune champions. You know, Wolverine, he's going to be really, really gimped in terms of his damage output. But against champions that are bleed immune with X-23, she, instead of doing bleed, she gains stacks of cruelty, which increase her crit damage. So it doesn't completely gimp the character. She's a bit of a workaround when it comes to dealing with champions that can't take a load of bleed damage. Although it's nowhere near as effective as just straight up bleeding the character. Like, it just deals so much with X-23 and has a bit of a higher chance to proc. I guess to give an additional kind of argument to X-23 is she has slightly better prestige than Wolverine, but none of them have, like, great PI. There are much better characters, so if you do take any to rank 5, I feel like they're going to be, you know, just for the sake of prestige, and that's kind of your main factor, then that's probably going to be dropped pretty quickly by another champion. And if you want a character to take to rank 5 for PI in the mutant class, well, you should probably go for Rogue. She's still a bit of a beast. Granted, her regen maybe isn't as great as Wolverine or X-23 in some scenarios, but, you know, if you get on her an attack team, if you really stack her up like that, her regeneration can be pretty deadly. nicely, and especially on some potential flare nodes in Act 5, which increase attack but also give you degeneration. I think Rogue might be really, really good for that, because hers is just the lifesteal, all based off the damage dealt on that lifesteal. So yeah, very, very interesting one. I mean, it's a little bit of personal preference here between the characters, but there's going to be a straw poll in the description of this video, so I'm going to allow you to vote on which one you believe would be the better rank 5 option. So who do you believe out of Wolverine, X-23, and Wolverine? Which one would you take to rank 5? Vote in the straw poll and let me know in the comments below. Apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed watching this bit of a Regeneration showcase video between the two characters. If you liked it, feel free to leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, enjoy the rest of the kill, take care, and have an absolutely fantastic day.